In this video, we're going to be covering 5 things I wish I had known about crafting's crazy revamp in Diablo 4. It is coming to us in Season 4 and beyond. It is absolutely amazing, and I think in many ways is going to save this game. But let's get at it. Let me show you some of the things that were not always clear to me when we got in, but now they make a lot of sense. So you guys can just jump in and enjoy what's going on with the new crafting. If you're trying the PTR or you're just jumping in for the Season 4, this is going to help you a lot. So the very first thing to know is one of the crafting abilities is tempering, and tempering lets you decide what the 2 additional affixes are going to be on your piece. So if you look at this thing, my leggings right here, I've got 3. I've got the maximum life, I've got life per second, I've got poison resistance, and then these 2 have little anchors on them. They have shadow resistance and corp explosion. These are things I've added through tempering, and so you can add up to 2 and you get a lot of choice in how those work. But to get the different abilities, you need to get the recipes. Once you click on the recipe, it then becomes yours forever in the tempering window. The next thing that I would want to have known is how the tempering works. It's got a lot of moving pieces, but it's really neat. So we've already broken down the maps or the recipes, and now we have those as permanent things. What else can we do? Well, if we look at this piece right here, let's float over this. I have maximum life, I have life per second, I have poison resistance, and then I've added these 2. So tempering allows you to add 2 more affixes. How you decide what those are is from those recipes you got, because they are going to roll one of the, one of the things that are available. So in this one, if I go to utility to add to here, let's go. I have the choice. One of these is going to roll. So corpse explosion, corpse tendril, maiden, decrepify, or curse. Well, depending on your build, probably only one of those is really going to matter. So what then comes into play is then once you roll the first one, which is free. So if I didn't have a utility on this yet, and I rolled this, I got this one, the corpse explosion, for free. I didn't have to roll or use any of my temper rerolls. Now, if I've already done it, like let's say I don't like the range, like, every affix has a range. It's going to go from this many points to this many points, or this percentage to this percentage. And you always want the higher end. And we can look at this because we have the advanced on, but look at corpse explosion. I have a 17.5, but it could go from a 15.5 to 20. So if I want a chance at re-rolling that, I'm using these re-rolls. The problem with that, if like in this one in particular, if I re-roll that and already have the ability I want, there's a high chance I'm going to get a different ability. So just be aware of that. Like the first one's free, and then you get 5 chances. So in this one, like if I was going to look, if I already got something that I want, I'd roll until I got something that I actually was going to use. Then I'd probably work on getting this one to go, because that one might, oh, actually that might be a problem too. Whatever resistance I need, that's going to, it's only the ones I need that I want to roll. So this could be a problematic, but other ones, it could be like damage, different types of damage types, and getting a higher roll on that can matter a lot. And so the 5 chances, it might just be taking you to another level. The next thing after tempering is going to be masterworking. That's basically replaced upgrading. So instead of upgrading 5, you're going to have masterworking, which can actually take it up to 12 levels, and every 4th gets you a major bonus to one of the affixes, a 25% jump. It's nuts. So that's pretty crazy. But what was cool is, unlike tempering, which if I try to put a actual like unique in here, I can't. Like this is just not. So uniques can't be tempered. I can't add an ability. Whatever's on the unique is what I'm going to have. But I can masterwork that. So that is super cool. So all the uniques can still get the benefits of that constant the little upgrades, and then the big jumps of 25% on one of their mains. So that is freaking awesome. The next thing is when I jumped in here, I got a little excited and I started just like trying to do everything, and it wasn't a good strategy, but I did want to test. I wanted to make these videos, but I ran out of materials really fast. Even though they gave me a ton of materials to test things out, it was very clear that materials go fast if you're doing a lot of tempering. So one of the things that I definitely would be much more cognizant of is making sure that piece that I'm masterworking or tempering is really a piece that I want. If at least I'm okay with it if I get stuck with it for a while, in end game where I'm trying to get my perfect build. Because there is going to be things that we want that are even better, because in this season, we're also going to get greater affixes. Now, greater affixes take one of your abilities and they multiply it by 1.5. So if you look on this one, I have a star next to my impairment reduction. That star is a greater affix. So where that probably would have rolled, well, significantly less, it's a major jump on that piece. And so anytime you can get those, and they can only drop, you can't add them, you can't enchant them. This lucky hit on I actually got it on a unique, which is freaking cool. So my lucky hit chance on this one is going to be one of those greater affixes. So save your materials as much as you can. Be very sparing with them until you get pieces that you know that can go all the way. They have the right affixes on it. You have the, you can obviously put whatever aspect you want. That's not going to matter that much. So make sure your affixes are correct. And if you have it shot at either, I think it has one or two possibilities for greater affixes. So you can have 2 of your stats actually be that increased bump. And since those can only drop, if you start with those, you have a much higher chance of getting a much stronger end game build. That's like when you finally do the min max, it's just going to absolutely demolish. Now, the other thing that I kind of went back and forth as I was going through the pit, because the pit is the new end game material. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I do have another video coming that I will do that in a lot more detail. And the pit's fun. I have hated Nightmare Dungeons pretty much since the beginning. I didn't really understand what it was, but there's just this issue where the feeling of progress is really stripped out. And so when I started going through the pit, I started realizing that, there's only so much material for masterworking, and that can make a big difference. If you want to keep pushing that level of your pit to higher and higher, which is really designed to do. You don't have to, they're not doing item pickups in the middle. If you run it really fast, you get a bonus of X number of levels later, and you keep just pushing. And every time you do, you get like a big jump in gear. And it is a really great feeling of accomplishment and feel that I don't think has been in the end game outside of like really be able to target like uniques for the first time. That was pretty cool. But in this, it just feels really good. Now, what do you want to do with those points? Because what you can do with the master working is if I bring one of these in, I can either like try to get all of my abilities like up a little bit, so I can get my boots up, I can get my leggings up, and just kind of do that, because there is a big jump between levels. So the level 1's requirements versus level 4 is significant. But what I really balanced out, instead of trying to even it out and just kind of slowly growing these, there's a natural cliff. Because the items that you use to upgrade these is going to change at a certain point. And so the ones that you're running right now, so if you come down here and look at there's this little egg wrap thing, I have 53 of down there. So that's the first material you need. The next material you need is going to switch around level 20 of the pit. You're going to start getting that next level, which is going to take you from level 5 to level 8, or, upgrade 5 to level 8. And then again, that second 25% increase, which is freaking awesome. But so what I found out that had a major impact is rushing my best item to that first 25% jump. So getting to level 4 and then picking another item and taking that to 4. That gave me the most push in the pit and gave me the most feeling of accomplishment of just kind of moving through and just covering a lot of ground. Then you do have the ability to roll it back. So if I put it in here where the masterworking is, there's this button right here that says reset masterwork ranks. This will take it. So right now it's 4, it'd go back to 0. And then I could put materials in to level it up again and hope that when the 4th one hits, which ability goes increases by 25% is the right one that I want. And so that allows you to really min-max an endgame. If there's one piece that you think is like crucially important, it is going to be expensive because all the materials that are taken to maybe like you left it all the way to 12 are gone. You have to go and grind those again. And it does get pretty pricey. It's a lot of pit runs. But at that point, you probably are pretty strong and are just wiping through those and getting a lot of great materials very fast. So it's just a warning, though, that you are going to lose that material. The thing about masterworking is it's irreparably tied to the pit itself. And the pit is the new endgame mechanic that is absolutely incredible. It has a constant feel of accomplishment. I can't wait for you guys to jump in and try this. But you get to kind of push through the tiers and you're always moving forward. Instead of having that random roll where you have like level 91 to 100, this is kind of this constant pulse, and you're looking for like a sweet spot, because this is where you're going to get all the materials to do your masterworking. If you guys want to check out a really cool video, we are doing a video on the 5 things I wish I would have known about the pit. It is a really awesome mechanic. Check it out there.